Whew. Over the next 8 to 10 minutes, I would show you a live set that I did myself in the DMs, and I would explain why I did what I did. Because a lot of you guys are also DM setters. You guys want to become DM setters, but guess what? You guys are learning things that are too outdated. I've been in the space for more than half a decade. I've done over 15 million from the DMs, and I've made as high as 16K. And in 2022, when I was 17 years old, I was averaging 8K a month. So again, with that being aside, I'll show you the live conversation. Please freaking lock in, get your notebooks, because this is gonna be an amazing session. Hope you enjoy. So this is an actual live conversation that I would be breaking down for you today and explaining exactly why I did what I did and how you can implement this within your own conversations to get the maximum results. So again, it was a really simple lead. It was an outbound. They commented on one of my posts. I reached out to them. Yo, Dylan, what's up, brother? Just saw your comment. Bada bada boom. My setter then followed up with them. And he basically responded with, yeah, my fault. I didn't have my notification on. Now, at this point, I just said, LOL. No worries, bro. You still want the free resource or you got it all figured out. Pretty nonchalant, pretty simple, coming off as human as possible. He said, yeah, I'll take the resource. I said, good timing, though. Just created another banger on how Ivika, one of our students, landed a DM role in under 40 days, creating a bit more anticipation around the resource. And then I was like, are you in remote sales as well? Now, at this point, this guy said he works at a car wash and he does sales and he's one of the top sellers there. So I went ahead, made him feel good about himself, and then I did something that I call introduction. Now, you got to keep in mind that when you're talking with these leads, they don't know you. They simply don't know you. They don't know anything about you, your story. They just commented on a single post and they're looking for a resource. So what you got to do is you got to introduce yourself as much as you can within these conversations so it doesn't sound like an interrogation when you keep on asking them questions about what they do. So I went ahead, I said part of the reason I became so successful with remote sales was the fact that I was selling magazines prior to that, and I was too one of the top sellers there. How long have you been in sales for? Now, me saying that I was also one of the top sellers, and that is the reason I became so successful in remote sales. Another reason for that is the fact that he's also a top seller. And if I say that, then subconsciously he's thinking to himself, okay, if I'm the top seller, I would do good with remote sales. So I went ahead and I was like, how long you been at car wash for? Then I was like, what differentiates you that makes you one of the top seller that the other people on your team are not doing? The only reason I asked this question is because people love talking about themselves and their achievements, and this is the beginning of the conversation, so I want to give him that leg room to kind of carry on and glaze himself a bit. Now, he said he's been at the car wash for a month. He said, I just push and I don't take no for an answer. Now, at this point, I did something which is adding humor. The reason we add humor is if you're a phone setter, you can use tonalities, right? You can use tonalities, you can come off as human, but within DM conversations, you gotta add more humor. So all I said was, how many times have you watched The Wolf of Wall Street, bro? He went ahead and said, like once or twice. Lamau, he's opening up. It's a good conversation. We're at the right track. Now, the thing is, he's only been at a car wash for a month, and he is one of the top sellers there. And one thing you got to keep in mind is I'm asking him questions about whatever he's saying. I'm not asking him random ass questions like, oh, what got you interested in making money online if you're already working a job? No. We're going to get to that, but always ask questions about what they're saying, and that is what we call following the wave. Now, at this point, he said, I went ahead, I was like, so it's been fairly recent, and within the month you climbed your way up to being one of the top guys. What's the goal with looking for something remote then? And this question logically makes sense. You've only been a month there, you're one of the top sellers, why not just keep on doing that rather than looking into something remote? And he said, probably make a lot more money before I leave for basic military training. Now, I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm not from US, I have no idea how that works, so guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna clarify until I understand what's happening with him. So I was like, wait, so you're leaving for military training? When's that? He said, that's in April. Now at this point, I was like, yo, I'm out, bada bada boom. Coming off more human. Hey, I'm a human, I'm not a freaking bot. He said Gucci, he's opening up. Pretty cool conversation. Now, at this point, I was out, so I was like, by the way, I've never chatted with anyone that's looking into military training. How does that work? Do you typically just train for a few months and then get back home? Or you train plus get recruited for a few years? Like what happens exactly? He went ahead and said, yeah, I trained for 8 weeks and then go to tech school for a couple of months and then I start my actual job. Now you gotta keep in mind that this person is doing a car wash shop. He's one of the top sellers. He is going for military training for the next 8 weeks. Then he's going to go to tech school for a couple of months. And then he's going to start a job. So let me show you what's happening here. Let me open up my Miro board. So for people like these, we call them loaders. Loaders, right? So loaders. Now, loaders are the people that do three or more things. To be honest, 2 to 3 things or more things at the same time, and they just keep on adding more, and they just give you freaking excuses. Oh, I just want to make more money. Oh, I want to make like generational wealth. Bada bada boom. It's all useless. It doesn't matter, right? So what you got to do with loaders specifically is you got to try to get as much information about what they're doing to find the real reason why they want to do whatever it is that your coach is offering, because typically it's the fact that they're not making money with what they're doing. So you got to get as much information as you can. And then the next thing is you got to disqualify them. So this entire conversation is going to be about me pushing him away because he's already doing so much, and with the intention that if he gets pushed away and he goes, good job. He wasn't a good fit. But if he sticks around, that he would qualify himself for why he's a good fit for what we have. So that is what we're going to do. And this person is typically what I refer to as loaders, people that are already doing so much and they want to keep on doing more and more. So at this point, I was like, sheesh, man, how long will the tech school last before you get an actual job? He said 4 to 8 months, just depends on the job, really. I was sort of confused. I mean, you're already working a job. In about 2 months, you'd be off for training. After you get around tech school and land a good role, for most, this is the dream situation. Because that is the truth. I was like, what's the goal with something remote? You might not even need it. So what am I doing here? I just explained it a minute ago. I'm disqualifying this person because he's already doing so much. He's a loader. Now, at this point, he said just to make 20K a month would be nice. Guess what? Bollocks. Fuck him. 20K a month within like 2 months? It's insane. You cannot physically do, like you can do that with remote sales. But for a beginner, it's really freaking hard. So I'm just going to disqualify him. I said, of course, bro. So I'm not pushing him away. I'm like, of course, bro. But your end goal is to go to a tech school, plus get a job. Also, around April, you'd go for training. Not sure if they even allow you to do a remote job while you are training, which hardly leaves us a month and a half. And of course, you cannot expect to make 20K a month in that time frame. He said, yeah, I do. I know I'd be able to do remote stuff. And when I go to tech school, I'd be off on weekends. I said, pretty cool. How many are you only going to be free on weekends, or do you have time on the week, like during the week as well? He said probably a short time frame on the weekdays, but weekends would be all open. I said how many hours? I said 3 to 4. He said 5 to 6. So keep in mind, guys, I'm getting as much information. So what's happening so far? I'm getting as much information as I can about his current situation and what he's doing because he's a loader. Number 2, I'm asking him a question about what he says. I would never ask a question and bring it back from the dead that has nothing to do with this conversation. Plus, I'm introducing myself. Plus, I'm pushing him away. I'm trying to disqualify him with the intention of him qualifying himself. I said, bro, more than enough. Some of the guys we got are averaging about 6K a month with 5 hours a day. What is this? This is me trying to sell what we have here without coming off as salesy, kind of putting it there sneakily. I said, with the military training, would you have time during the training too, or that's not possible? At this point, I replied, followed up, you can steal this from me. I use it a lot, which is if you replied in your head, bro, I respect it, but send it on IG too. He said, I won't have the access to internet. I said, not at all. He said, yeah. I said, to be honest, bro, it's better to look into something remote after April then, when at least you have the consistency. I mean, you could spend the next 4 to 6 weeks, learn something, and just when you're gaining momentum, you lose it all because of military. Now, at this point, he said, I mean, why can't I start now? So this is him trying to push himself and qualify himself, because clearly we're just pushing him away. We keep on pushing him. We're just trying to disqualify him, and that is working because he's a loader and he's not used to this, because every single coach is like, we can help you, right? So good job. He said, because of no military training, no internet access. He said, I don't leave until April so I can make money in the meantime. Now we got to remember, he said he wants to make like 20K, which is insane. So we got to remove that before we book him in, just to have this right expectations. I said, what sort of money? I remember you said 20K, and that's insane with something like remote sales in 4 to 6 weeks for a beginner. It took me at least 2 years to hit my first 12K, right? So he said, I mean, I know I won't make much that now, but later down the line. So this is, again, him qualifying himself like, hey, I know I'm not going to make that much, but maybe down the line because I really want to do this. Now, at this point, I was like, that's the mindset, bro. He said, I'm fast learner. Look at this conversation. This guy just keeps on qualifying himself. I said, what sort of income goal are you aiming for till April before you go for military training? He said, like 5 to 6K a month. I have the time right now. My work is slow. I was like, is that what you're making right now? Is the top seller, or where are we at with that? And I clarified what he means by slow because, again, I have no idea. See, I said ha 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 in capital letters and then emojis just to come off as more human. A lot of you guys don't do it. You guys sound like everyone else, and that is what's costing you money. Okay, he said, with my job, I make about 17 an hour. I said, not too shabby. How many hours are you working? Again, details, details. I need the freaking details. Depends. It's actually 34 to 36 hours a week. I did the calculation. It came off at about 500 bucks a week. I said, not too bad, bro. He said, I want to make more. I said, is the end goal to replace it with something remote? He said, yep. Bada bada boom. How many hours would you have? And then at this point, I shift towards explaining and asking him if he knows what DM setting is. Now, you got to keep in mind, guys, this conversation is a really good example of a conversation that 99% of the DM setters would have fucked up just by trying to get him in and book a call with them. Whereas I know he's a loader, right? Within our program, we have like different personality types of people in the leads you speak with, and we teach you what to do with each one of them because that is intent-based setting, because you cannot apply the same freaking pain and goal approach to every single lead, right? So this is a loader. We tried to push him away as much as we could, and he just kept on qualifying himself and again and again and again and again. Another thing is my conversation was extremely human. I was only asking him questions about whatever he was saying. And then the conversation tone was extremely professionally informal. Like, it wasn't too formal. It was informal, but also really professional, right? Because we added humor. So, and I was introducing myself. I said, bro, have you done any research on what DM setting even is? You're already working in a car wash. Plus the top seller would be pretty easy for you to do the same in this niche, as both are similar in nature. This is me trying to put him in the mind frame of like, hey, you already have what it takes because of what you're already doing. You would crush this. So he's going to be more gravitated towards what we have. He said, no, yet not yet. I sent him the video here, which doesn't show here, but this is where the video was. He said, okay, that seems easy. I said, haha, exactly, bro. It's the fact nobody knows about it. It's insane. He was like, true, gives us more opportunities. What exactly do I gotta do now to get started? Why does he have such high, what do we call it, intent? Why does you want to do this? It's because I kept on pushing him away, and I don't sound like everyone else, and I'm just being a human and asking him questions about whatever he was saying. Now, at this point, I was like down to jump on a call. He said, bada bada boom. I sent him the link, and he's scheduled in. So this is a really good example of what a conversation is supposed to look like with a loader. I might create some more for other different personality types, but again, be human in these conversations. Did I ask any pain goal question? What's like, oh, how would that impact you? Why now? What happens if you don't do this? It's cringe. It's cringe. A lot of you guys want to make a lot of you guys want the results that the top 1% setters are having, but then at the same time, you guys sound like the 99%. A lead is talking with 10 different coaches, and guess what? All of you sound fucking same. You're not going to make the kind of money you want to make if that is what you're doing. So I really hope this helps you out. And with that being said, I'll see you next week.